week with my best friends. Some people say we have a problem, but every night I make a new best friend. And the only problem is we like having a good time.
Hello. Good evening, Love Wrestling. It's Wednesday, second week in a row. Wednesday night special between two beards. And as you can see, between the two beards below us, we have the head honcho. We have the boss. We got the hater of Cool Runnings.
All right, cue up the watch along. This is the
Why,
watch along.
JP, you were even defending me.
I know.
You
I
were even
always defend
defending me
you.
last Wednesday when you were talking about.
I know. I should.
That's the thing is, like, I don't by any means hate Cool Runnings.
I know.
I hate
defended you
it
the
where
whole time.
it was picked in the draft. That is my only issue. That is 100. It'd be like if you were to do a fantasy draft, which Pluggo might, because I beat him the week we played each other in fantasy football. But like, if you were to pick Ryan Leaf, I would consider that a bad pick. I just think that Cool Runnings in its specific selected spot was a bad pick. But enough of the negative. It's good to see you guys. I'm excited to be back. I only drink with my best friends, which is why I start most of these shows with hello, friends. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see
All right,
you.
Now cue up the Cool Runnings. Watch along.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Since he was too good to show up last week, we thought, why don't we get Spencer Love on to talk about his upcoming wrestling event?
What was
Change
that?
the game. He's partnered up. We are partnering. I guess we could say because we're under the Love Wrestling umbrella.
Oh yeah.
Is partnering up with Force Pro Wrestling to put on an event on October 15th, and we wanted to sit down and talk to the old boss man about it and get to know how this became to be.
Yeah, it's exciting. I know that's going to be about the dumbest way that I can kick it off. Of course, it's exciting. It's professional wrestling. We love it. Cheap plug. But I'm stoked. You know, I think that most professional wrestling fans out there have some like wild and insane goal of like running a pro wrestling show or doing something like this. And I've had a couple of opportunities to be involved with really cool shows. I've had a couple of opportunities where, like, a couple of years ago with the Crusaders, we tried to do a pro wrestling night and bring the ring out and all of that sort of stuff. But, you know, easy, cheap answer, but COVID. Yeah. So it's really, really cool. And I keep knocking on wood because, like, after the year and a half everyone's had, how can you not? That it's finally coming to fruition, really. And I get to do it with a lot of very, very cool people, a lot of very, very cool professional wrestlers. It's really nice to be doing this with Force because I'm very lucky to get to work with a lot of the great promotions out here in Alberta, the CWE and Real Canadian Wrestling. I'm lucky enough to ring announce for a lot of the time out here in Edmonton. But like, Force was the first professional wrestling promotion that I ever did any sort of official work for. I did like backstage interviewing and stuff like that. Green as shit. Don't ever get me wrong there. But it's cool to get the opportunity to work with them. Ben, you handsome gentleman. I forgot to send you a tracking number. Crap. I'll send that to you tomorrow. But he ordered mugs from us. I've shipped Ben some mugs. Also a handsome gentleman. One of those guys. Exactly.
Ben is a good one. Ben is a good one. Of course, if you're on Twitch, give him a follow. If you're not watching on Twitch right now, head to his Twitter account, and his username is quite literally his Twitch. It's easy. But back to us. It's cool as hell to get to do this with a lot of great people, a lot of great professional wrestlers, getting to do it with the first promotion that I ever got to work for. For really my first shindig at this. I don't have a better way to put it. I'm going to be throwing a lot of cliches out there, even more than normal. But like, we like cliches.
It's pretty surreal, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So before, we'll talk about, some of the matches and stuff like that. But so, how long had this been an idea of yours? Or like how long do you think, how long was it when you were like, oh, this can actually happen? Like, how long was that process and getting everything together to actually make this happen in a few weeks?
You know what? Once you sort of get together and all of that, like I know you guys would know this in the comparison of putting on a live show online. Once you get the background work done, like you plan out the name and who you want there and all of that sort of stuff, it comes together pretty quickly. Not that it's easy by any means, but like the actual timeline of stuff. it came together pretty quickly. Like, yeah, it's pretty daunting to try and get a hold of a lot of people, but realistically, it's sitting down for a couple of hours and making sure you contact each of them. And again, putting the work in for something as simple as sending Facebook messages and emails doesn't sound like much. It's not much when you really look at the grand scope of things. So the planning side was a lot, because you guys know me as well. I'm things are going to go wrong at some point, but I'm a perfectionist through and through, as much as I can be. So like, the detail work was tough. Trying to get people together, man, it was literally like, I want to work with this person. I want to work with this person. Holy shit, let's work with this person. Like, that part was the fun and easy part, quote unquote. Like, there are so many cool people involved. I'm so excited.
How do you decide? This has always been an intriguing thing to me, and this is why I kind of wanted to do this show, because I've always wanted to pick the brain of like a wrestling promoter. Like, how do you decide, okay, these are the people I want to run with, this is the group I want? And how do you tell? Is there ever a time where you have to like say, oh, sorry, we're full? Like, you got people
it's hard,
your door
man.
down?
It really, that was the hardest part, because like, there are so many people I love that are involved with the show, professionally and personally. But there are also so many more that I would want to be part of a show. Like, it'd be pretty easy for the 10-person Rumble to turn into like a 50 or 60-person Rumble, just because, like, again, the cliches coming out, but we are so lucky to have so much great professional wrestling in this country. We're lucky that we've got sort of a little bit of a flavor of everywhere. And that, at least with this show specifically, was one of the biggest things, is like, I wanted to try and get representation from every province that I possibly could. Our Quebec representation, Cheap Pop, our own Zach Ralph, is coming down to cover the show.
Nice.
Very nice.
But that was kind of the nice thing on this end, was like, okay, when it comes to Ontario, I'm lucky to have a great relationship with Holden Albright and Alexia Nicole and Spinelli and Kayla J, who moved out there from Alberta. When it comes to BC, again, very lucky to have the relationships and just the love of seeing people like Nicole Matthews and the Voros twins and Ravenous Randy Myers. Like, I've told the story a million times, but like, Myers and MRB were quite literally on the first ever independent wrestling show I ever went to. And the fact that now they're in the main event wrestling each other for the first time in 13 years, both of them have gone on to do such cool things, is nuts. And Tom hopping in here as well. So excited to change the game. And when you guys tune in on Twitch, Tom's going to be the guy handling all the excellent video and lower thirds and production aspects that I'm absolutely completely useless on. But man, yeah, it's again, that's a long-winded answer to it, Pluggo, but like, that was easily the hardest part of things. How I decided was trying to sample from everywhere, trying to narrow down as best as I could from there. Like, to be quite honest with you, we probably had 6 less wrestlers planned right off the bat, but then, like, you guys know me, I'm a sucker for a Rumble, so okay.
I mean, yeah. Who doesn't love a Rumble? Yeah. Who doesn't love a Rumble?
Exactly. Selecting was hard.
Speaking of the Rumble, don't we have two of our
we have a couple of people that we know in that Rumble, correct?
We do, and that again is like
Chris Parrish. Now, my question to you is, Parrish is putting the Love Wrestling Championship on the line in the Rumble, from what I heard through the grapevine.
Yes, he is. Yes,
are you worried that baby's not coming back home to Love Wrestling, or are you confident in Parrish's ability to get
You know what? I'm incredibly confident in Chris Parrish. I'm incredibly confident in Parrish. I'm incredibly confident in Goose. And the nice thing is like, if we've got to do another one of these to try and get them back in the hands of a Love Wrestling champion, cool. That is what it is.
Are you going to hop in there and take care of business? Are you going to be
the
Joker? No?
No. Like, look at me, dude. I'm 160 pounds, soaking wet,
so
wearing
is Darby Allin.
And I'm not willing. That was going to be my example. It was like, I'm not willing to do the kind of crazy stuff that like a guy like him or a Spike Dudley or even a Marco Stunt. Did you guys see the
the Wardlow? The Wardlow?
Yeah. He was like 13 feet in the air.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. Don't have the fortitude for it, to be quite honest with you. Really don't. No. Hard no.
That's amazing.
So should we put him on the spot, JPJ? Do you want Goose or Parrish to bring the belt home? If you had to pick one.
Either or.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
as long as it stays with Love Wrestling, that's all we care about. Right?
When things stay in the family, well, we're good to go.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's why we've invited you on the show, Pluggo. You just keep ducking me.
Wow.
Oh, what? That must
Wow.
have missed
Calling
the
you
invites
out.
to the show
Calling you
here.
out.
Yeah, actually, it was
I'd
on,
gladly get into a ring.
It was on my Cool Runnings watch along.
Oh, which doesn't exist because you're a
Yeah,
hater.
you spite protested it.
I'm sitting here. I invited you. I'm sure you got the messages.
I
I sent about 60 of them.
That's true. You did.
I'm
send about
surprised
60
you
of
let
them.
Zach take care of stuff on the show, considering he's the one that made the ticket. But hey,
He did.
we digress. We're not here to
It-
talk about Cool Runnings. We are here to talk about Change the Game on October 15th with Force. How did you get hooked up with Force Pro Wrestling specifically? If you didn't answer that one already, I think you
So the
didn't
long
exactly,
story
but-
short, no, not really, because like they're sort of two separate conversations, obviously. So it would have been at the end of 2019. Is when I started working for Force as like their backstage guy and all of that sort of stuff. They were running a training facility out of here, headed up by Michael Richard Blaze, oddly enough, Tex Gaines, and then a lot of other individuals doing the training as well. You've got your Zoe Saggers, Michael Allen, Richard Clark, people like that. So I just started going out there because Tex has been like a huge ally of mine as far as what I used to do and continue to do with like the quote unquote journalistic stuff, whether it's interviews, whether it's articles that I was doing on the last site, anything like that. Like always wanted to help, always tried to push me forward. So always appreciated that. So when I got the opportunity to do stuff for him, like quite literally, he was the first guy to ever ask me. I was chomping at the bit to hop in. Just again, every pro wrestling fan wants to get in and do something like that, even just once. And if they hate it, you get out. So I started doing backstage interviews. I did my first commentary appearance with them because we just ended up having somebody pull out. They needed someone. Old Spence hops in. So it was really cool to get to work with them. Unfortunately, the pandemic happens, and because of the pandemic, building jacks the rent up, yada yada yada. So flash forward, basically, I wanted to start pursuing opportunities for the Crusaders' upcoming season is the long and short of it. So Tex was the first guy I reached out to, and he just happened to take me up on like, look, I want to do this. Let's try and do something with the crew, all of this sort of stuff. And admittedly, it just sort of snowballed from there in the best possible ways. With COVID happening and like just different sets of restrictions between entertainment and sport and all that sort of stuff working through, it wasn't really feasible to plan on doing it at a community arena. It's for all the right reasons, but like when you get into counties and all of that sort of stuff, rightfully so, they've just got to do their due diligence on that sort of stuff. And we had already started to snowball things. So fast forward, and we were very lucky that at the end of August or start of September that the rec room officially came on. Like we went, did the measurements, all of that sort of stuff, like crossed the T's, dotted the I's. Once they said that they were good to go as the venue, it was like, let's go. We announced a week later.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that was how we got Forces. Quite literally, again, I'm really lucky to work with a lot of great people. I messaged Tex. Tex was game. Here we are. And I completely agree. Like the venue is we've got to start calling that like a Tony or something, not like a chef's kiss anymore, but like a Tony D'Angelo.
Hey.
There we go. That's what we got to start going with.
It's wonderful. Hey.
Make it wrestling specific, right? It's like rule 81 of the internet. If it's been done, you can make it wrestling specific. But I'm very excited for that part of things. Like, you know, it's just cool. Like I've never really been to a venue, and there's some cool venues that I've had the opportunity to go to here in Alberta, but nothing that's really like technologically sound in the way that like a concert venue is. You know, you go to like your WWE shows and that sort of stuff, you get those production elements, but like we've got the full big screen, we've got all that sort of stuff. It's nice. It's just going to be a very cool look for what I think is going to be a cool show, right? Like I don't think I've been to many shows outside of like CWE, PWA started doing it for a little bit, but like where they had full sort of Titantron graphics, excuse me. We're going to get to have all of that sort of stuff. I'm real excited. And thank you, Dustin, as well. I completely agree. It is a great space. And like, it's been cool to work with them. Like when we got to the rec room, we were signing everything off. And one of the servers there, we were just shooting the shit, is like signing everything off, all of that. And they started talking about their independent wrestling shows that they had gone to and how they love Pentagon and all of that sort of stuff. It's like rad. Like you find wrestling fans everywhere. Right. So to get to do this, to even have that first little like experience with them with that is like, it's a Tony.
Hey. All right. So before we dive into the people that are going to be there, some of the matches and stuff like that, obviously we've said a few times, October 15th, that's when the show is. But why don't you let the people know what time this starts, how they can watch it? And then we'll start diving into some of the talent and matches.
It is very convenient if you want to watch it. Obviously, I would encourage, if you feel comfortable doing so, come out to the rec room. It's October 15th, 2021. That's next Friday in South Edmonton Commons rec room, not the West Edmonton Mall. West Edmonton Mall, Wecwoom, for you Edmontonians out there.
Clip that back.
No, well, feel free. I was going to make for you Life of Brian fans out there, but I figured that would like maybe pop one person. Sorry. So it's October 15th at the Rec Room, South Edmonton Common. It begins at 6 p.m. Doors open at 6 p.m. We've got our Rumble match taking place at 6:30. The Love Wrestling Elite Championship on the line. And then at 7 p.m., we've got the official start of the Twitch stream starting here, where we are going to convert from a free stream over to a subscribers-only stream, at least for interaction. We don't want to limit anybody on watching the great pro wrestling we're lucky enough to have out here in Canada. But if you want to interact, you want to get involved, you want to chat in the chat, I wish I had a better line for that. That rhymed unintentionally, but awesomely. Feel more than free. We always encourage people to support in whatever way they so can. If you want to throw a little bit extra, it's all going to go right back into Love Wrestling at times. Force Pro Wrestling changed the game. Whether that's just doing more cool stuff for wrestlers, whatever in between. Feel free to support. Feel encouraged to support however you feel comfortable on October 15th.
And for our fans of Between Two Beards, we will be in the chat. So
100%. I was just going to say,
if you want to interact with us and talk about your favorite cool runnings for us, moments while we watch some wrestling.
And like, even even for me, like like you, Pluggo, like we're from the United States, so like I've seen Spencer interview some of the people that are going to be, but I've never seen a lot of these people wrestle. So this is going to be kind of like a cool experience where we're going to be in the chat with other Love Wrestling supporters and other people from Love Wrestling, just having a good time chatting. And I'm going to get to watch people that you've told me in person on streams and how great and how much you admire some of these people. And I'm going to get to watch them for the first. I wish I could be there, obviously, but it's a really neat way for us to still be involved.
We actually had the money to fly both of you guys in,
but we blew it.
And then you pulled that Sean Ross Sapp bit, and all the money was gone. And don't get me wrong, it's worth it. Sean's a great guy, but I got to call him as I see him, or I got to call him as you spent him. You spent your budget to come to Canada. I can only write the GST.
I knew it would bite us in the ass somehow. I knew eventually it was going to bite us in the ass. And that day has come.
We've got graphics for all these upcoming cards.
We do.
See some faces and names. But before we dive into that, I did have one more question for you, because we are from the States, JPJ and I, and you are from Canada. And Canada has a robust history in wrestling. Like, I think but do you think sometimes people tend to forget about all of the amazing Canadians? So in a way, there's kind of a chip on your shoulder, so to speak, when you're changing the game and reminding people Canada has a great scene.
So honestly, we went with the name half to just like try and make a pun on the Rec Room, because they've got a lot of arcade games and all that sort of stuff too. So that's really like where the impetus for it was. But like,
I thought it was deeper than that.
No, like by no means do I want to speak for like all Canadian pro wrestlers or anything like that. But, I, in my opinion, do think it's a little bit slept on. And I know that there are certainly some that share the sentiment with me. it's distance, it's a lack of some like Twitch streaming or stuff like that you see a lot of promotions in the States doing. You look to your GCWs, or you look over to Progress in the States, or you look over to WXW in Germany and what they're able to do with some of their shows and some of their content. We're not able to do for, again, like a lot of the dumb stuff that we can't fix, like travel. And it's more expensive for us to book flights across Canada than it is to get to the States. So even for a lot of great pro wrestlers, it makes more financial sense to be going outside of Canada sometimes too. So there are a lot of different factors that go into it. I think that a lot of people do know that there's great pro wrestling up here. I think that there's slept onedness. What a weird way to put that. I do think it is a little bit slept on in ways. Yeah. But there we go. Then take the deeper meaning from it. Let's bury a good line when we've got it. That's what we're going to do. We're out here to change the game in professional wrestling. I shouldn't even, no, that's too cocky for me to say doing this my first time. I've really, and that's been one of my biggest things is like promoting the show itself. I'm happy to talk about how great that is. But like, as far as like that hyperbole for me personally, dude, I've never done this. I've never done this before. Yeah. I'm real excited to do it, but you gotta walk before you can run. Maybe a year from now, I'll be talking about how this was the start of changing the game, but that's a TBD.
Maybe a year from now, we'll be talking about changing the game too.
Maybe my booking fee will have gone up by then. But change the game to Electric Boogaloo.
Hopefully, if the budget goes up, maybe I'll be able to go to the second one. That'd be pretty. I
admittedly could probably pick your brain on what goes into the backstage of promoting a show, but I know JPJ wants to get into that card because it's a good one.
I want to talk about some of these wrestlers.
For what it's worth, I got lots of time. Morgan's closing at work tonight, which is unfortunate because, like, dude, I'm sure you guys are both in the same boat as. Well, I'm sure both of you guys are in the same boat as I am. Is like I'm praying she gets off early so that we can like watch Squid Game, but God forbid I've got to sit and chat about like cool pro wrestling.
4 episodes in, I think, or 5. That show is.
I'm
just nuts.
It's the next one on my list. I have not dived
so
in
good.
Yet.
So good.
I know. I've heard crazy things.
Okay, we'll chat. Okay, I just finished episode 3, so I'll
okay, cool. Oh, it's so good.
See, now I have FOMO, so I'm gonna have to watch it tonight at some point.
Like, now we have to open a new
part of these conversations.
Squid Games watch along coming up. I love wrestling, man.
Since it is your show, Spencer, and we have we got some graphics for some of the matches, and we got some, a couple promos and stuff we're gonna show. But what match do you want to talk about first? Where do you want to start?
I would like you guys to take the reins on that because it gives me the little bit of like. Oh, you know what I mean? When the graphic pops up, I get my own little cheap pop because, like, shit, I'm a fan too. I like all the people wrestling. All right. That's why they're coming.
Pluggo, I'll let you pick a match first, and you can play the graphic, and then we'll have Spencer hype up and talk about the match a little bit.
Okay. I'm messing with buttons, which is never good on this show.
It's too hard for you. I can go first.
All right, ready? This one.
All right. Yeah. That is one I have been excited about for a long time. Like, Artemis Spencer, I think, is someone who's pretty easy to make a case for internationally. Like when you've got the opportunity to work for Defy, he's been the Defy World Champion. He's gone on and done stuff in England and sort of gotten that international exposure. He's certainly a guy that professional wrestling fans, if by this point they don't know, I really don't know why. Like he's so good. And personally, Michael Allen, Richard Clark, like. When you talk about those people who were slept on in professional wrestling or dudes that I just think like, again, how the hell people don't know more about him, how he's not one of those guys on like those free agents you must sign lists.
Yeah.
I really don't get it because you look at this guy, he's the PWA champion heading into the pandemic. And obviously currently your PWA champion, had the opportunity to go or obviously with, again, the pandemic. I hate that being like the theme of so many things.
Yeah. I know.
But like he won the opportunity to go make appearances for House of Hardcore and for Evolve and stuff like that before. So like his credentials, again, speak for themselves. I think what's going to be really cool here and what I think is one of the themes with a lot of these matches on the card, to be honest with you, is you're going to get pro wrestlers who can do everything really well, but will also offer a really, really cool contrast of styles. if that makes sense. Like, you're not going to look at either of those guys and say, oh, this is the weak part of their match, whatever it might be, or the weak facet of their game. Neither of these guys have one. But I think the coolest part for me is, like, with MARC, he's got a real power game. He is like the most jacked guy in professional wrestling. And the last tweet that he sent out, I know he's going to sewer me because that's not the exact quote, and I'll deserve it, frankly. But like, he's got a real good power game. The guy's a monster. And then Artemis Spencer, like, you look at what that guy does in the air, and it's insane. I think that there's going to be a real cool. I'm trying to avoid saying the phrase styles clash so that this stream stays up. But I think there's going to be a real rad dichotomy between these two. It's something I'm really looking forward to. I've wanted to see it. I only got to see Artemis Spencer wrestle for the first time on the first Clandestine Society show. And as soon as you see that, it was like, this needs to happen.
Yeah. Awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, I am a big fan of tag team wrestling. I like tag team wrestling a lot. So the next one that I'm going to pick, so we can talk about it a little bit. And, we've seen two of these gentlemen, love wrestling t-shirts all over our website and the internet and stuff like that. So I want to show this one right here.
Beauty. This is going to be neat. So the Voros twins and Son of Irish, if you guys are RCW fans, which you should be, again, support your independent professional wrestling. They wrestled about 4 weeks ago here with KB6, another indie wrestler out here in Alberta, as the tag team partner. I will confirm, not the tag team mystery partner for this event. What I am going to say, though, is like, our mystery partner for this one is going to blow some people's minds in a really cool way. He's not going to be a name that I think a lot of people will expect. But I think that he's someone that within like seconds of making an entrance, you get the vibe. You're going to know it's going to be very, very cool to see the reaction, both because I think that it's going to be a huge surprise to people in a lot of ways. And then like, these four are just going to go out there and deliver. I think that, again, anybody who saw the three individuals go at it at the RCW show about a month ago, they're going to be absolutely insane. You mentioned the Voros twins earlier, and like, obviously, they're great guys. You see them on social media all the time.
They're
fantastic
TikTok
pro wrestlers. It's not
unmatched.
Like,
yeah,
and I'm sure you guys have seen it by this point too.
Special, yeah.
Well, I'm sure you guys have seen it too, but Chris Van Vliet interviewed them about 2 weeks ago.
I did see
and
that.
They are the most followed wrestlers outside of WWE on TikTok, period. And they are the fourth most followed pro wrestlers on TikTok overall. Including everyone in the WWE.
Did you have to tell them to cool the dumbbell dodgeball out a little bit before the show?
You know what? If that helps with their training, they are more than welcome to do whatever they so please. Again, let the professionals handle themselves as they need to handle themselves. And,
I'm gonna remember that you said that for Friday's meeting in your office.
Dude, I let you do the Cool Runnings watch along. Like, that's all I've got to say about that.
It's true.
Son of Irish, I think that he is absolutely going to, not to be cliche with it, he's going to change the game in professional wrestling, whether it's here, Timbuktu, anywhere. 17 years old. He is a prodigy in every sense of the word. Yeah, and he is he's nuts. He's the insane Son of Irish for a reason, because like, some of the stuff this guy can do and some of the stuff that this guy will do is insane.
Wow, I did not know. 17. That is
that's
the future. The future is
bright.
bright.
All the scoops.
Future is bright. Good Lord.
Baby,
I wish. Remember when we were 17? No.
Oh God.
No.
Dude, I didn't even have a driver's license until I was 18.
There you go.
Me neither. Yeah. So 17-year-old me, man. We could have a show.
Tell you what, I definitely couldn't have been one of the bright future independent wrestlers in Canada at the age of 17. So he's got that.
I couldn't have been a bright independent wrestling future at any point in my life.
Yeah. This is true.
Anywhere.
Yeah, this is true. All right.
Oh boy, it's my turn. Well, I'm gonna get it off the board. It's like we're drafted tonight. Can't wait to hear about this one. This one's got me all fired up.
Yeah, this is another one that's really, really cool for me for a lot of reasons. Again, I talked about sort of the contrast in styles that you can find with people. Zoe Sager is she's going to be signed. I don't have another way that I can put it, or another way that I can like hyperbolize it enough. Like she's got to be one of the most talented women I've ever seen in a pro wrestling ring. Period. Like when I was even talking about how she was helping out with training at the force camps and that sort of stuff, like she was, and I say this in like the grand scheme where you look at an industry with 30 and 40-year veterans, but like when you're 2, 3, 4 years into your pro wrestling career and you're able to go out there and effectively assist others in learning how to do things, like that's wild to me. I couldn't teach anybody how to do my job now. Right? Like she's fantastic in every sense of the word. And going up against Casey Spinelli, it's a first time ever match. I don't think Spinelli's been back in Alberta since like 2015, 2016. So it's again a bit of a homecoming of sorts. She was again on that first pro wrestling show that I ever went to. It was her, get this, the fatal four-way that I got to see on the first ever pro wrestling show I ever went to, the PWA show at the Century Casino. I had Tennille Dashwood, Tennille Taylor at the time, Taya Valkyrie, Casey Spinelli, and then Veronica Weiss. And like, again, this is, you talk about reasons to support your local independent professional wrestling. You're going to see someone that's going to go somewhere.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
guarantee that for most indie shows out there at this point. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
But back to this match specifically. I think that Spinelli is one of those individuals like that again just does everything so well as far as professional wrestling goes. Whether it's like the more comedic stuff that she's done before, like she's hilarious both in and out of pro wrestling. I'm sure I've sent you guys the clip of her like quite literally riding to the ring on one of those inflatable bouncy horses.
Yeah.
And then she goes out there and just beats the absolute hell out of people in multiple different ways, So I think that there's again going to be a real cool dichotomy between these two. Selfishly, I'm so excited. I've only ever seen Spinelli wrestle live once, and this is another one that I've had on the proverbial indie dream match list for a while.
Awesome. Well, the one that I want to talk about next is this one right here. A hardcore match. Gotta love a hardcore match. These guys are going to destroy each other, weapons, whatever it takes. Always a fun time. So, let's let you dive into that one.
And before you dive into it, answer me this. Do you have to let the venue know we're about to do a hardcore match? Or do you just do it and then they're like, what?
Yeah, their parameters. Like, do they ask you if like any
so like
things are going to be happening?
Oh yeah, like that's the thing is like is there going to be anything that's going to cause anybody like trauma or anything like that? Yeah. No, by absolutely no means. I don't think the Rec Room would have a very good time with a death match at their facility. I think that'd be a real tough sell if we ever wanted to go back. But again, like you talk about a hardcore match between these two guys, you're talking about quite literally everything but the stuff that would kill people in the wrong hands. I don't have a better way to put it. Colton Kelly, his dream match is New Jack. He was my second ever interview, and I can't put it any better than that. We chatted 3 years ago, and he was adamant that he wanted to wrestle New Jack, and the only reason it hadn't happened was that New Jack wasn't allowed into Canada at the time. So, so there's that for you. If you want to look into what Colton Kelly can and will do, again, go back to the Clandestine Society show that I was talking about earlier. He was the main event in the death match with Evan Adams, and Sheik Akbar Shabazz, and those guys went to absolute friggin' town. Not only that, though, and I think that this is something that gets underappreciated or lost a lot in hardcore wrestling. He's a hell of a pro wrestler, and the same goes for Holden Albright. Like hardcore wrestling, sure, there are idiots to go out there and give everything a bad reputation, whether it's lucha stuff, or anything in between in pro wrestling. You can find someone who's given it a bad reputation. When you look at these two guys, they are the epitome of who should be wrestling a hardcore match. They're going to go out there and beat the absolute hell out of each other. But is there going to be anything that's going to kill someone? I knock on wood. I friggin' hope not. They are going to go out there and have a hell of a professional wrestling match, as well as beat the hell out of each other.
A good hardcore wrestling, if you're telling a story, that's where it gets really good, right? It's not just about the pain. It's about telling a story in the ring, and it sounds like these two are going to do that.
Yeah, like you look at guys like Mick Foley, and no one's ever going to look at. And I know that that's like the most extreme comparison you can make. Obviously, haha, extreme. Tune into Josh Robinson's.
I was going to say
the legacy of Extreme Championship Wrestling this Friday. It's going to be a hell of a time.
You know, but Two Beard stands for Josh Robinson. That's what we do here.
We stand Josh Robinson here. The only time I don't stand Josh Robinson is when we are debating, because Brett is better.
We'll have to have another one.
I'll do another one. I had facts that I didn't have to bring out in that.
Scoops.
Right. So, sorry, back to it. Like you said, Pluggo, it's when they're telling a story, and I go back to Mick Foley because, like, for me, he's the epitome of like a hardcore deathmatch wrestler, that extreme sort of individual, but that told a story. And I think that these two guys are going to come out and deliver just that. I don't think by any means, if you're what's the best way I can put it is it's hard to change anyone's opinion of hardcore wrestling, but I think if you're going to, it's through a well wrestled match, and this for me is going to be one of those.
Awesome. All right. Well, as far as the graphics go, we only have one remaining, and I believe
it's okay if
we had two.
No, if you want, feel free to vamp. I can load the other one up as
because I'm a dope, and I tried to load these, and I think I forgot.
You give Pluggo one task.
Give Pluggo one task. Sitting there doing other thing, but I know we already talked about this. We'll just put it on the screen.
Yeah, then this is gonna open.
Oh, good. I just figured out which one you forgot. So
yes,
and that Rumble match is gonna open the show, as we mentioned at the top. Our very own Love Wrestling's very own, the Love Wrestling champion, Chris Parrish, will be in that, as well as the Goose.
Honk, honk.
Honk, honk. So we have some Love Wrestling family in that match. Parrish is putting the Love Wrestling Championship on the line.
I'm going to say it right now, boys. If you don't bring it home, the Slack chat's getting blown up. If you don't bring it home, I'll fly up to Canada and I'll get it done.
That's going to be it. No, you will not.
I am not putting any pressure on anybody to win anything at any point, and that's probably true too. Like lots of love to the three of us, but by no means are any of us.
We would be done.
We would be done. No. And I wouldn't be helping. I don't even know why I'm throwing myself in there.
There would be a sequel to Bushwhacker Luke for me. I would be in and out real quick, hopping right in, immediately out. Just keep on rolling. Just keep on rolling.
I'd be running my mouth hoping that you two would step up and going, oh, wait, they're out of the ring. Shit.
Would not stand a chance.
Oh, I wouldn't even be getting in.
Oh, well.
Spencer would be like, I'm going to be the guy that's like that just hangs out on the floor
I'd be
until it's my opportune time to get in there.
You know the old classic wrestling trope. I'm talking a bunch of shit. I turn around and my faction is this left.
Yeah, they're all like, nope, we're not backing you up on this one.
Well,
buddy.
That is pretty well.
I love a good Royal Rumble, Battle Royal, whatever you want to call it.
It is we're going to be doing it Rumble style. Like that's a cool part for me.
So they're going to be coming out in different Rumble style.
You betcha. Nice. Well, and part of that again is like selfishly, when you've got the opportunity to do such cool stuff and you've got the big screen and you get the opportunity to you know what? I don't have a better way to put it. Just do cool shit with your friends when it comes to that sort of stuff. Why not? Like if we've got the opportunity to give big entrances, that's exactly it. It should be the tagline on our website. But we should also attribute it at least loosely to Jeremy Lambert because that's partially I plagiarized that somewhat. But it's because he's cool. When it comes to this match, again, you get all that cool Royal Rumble style stuff to it. You get the entrances, you get all of that. But again, I think it's going to be a very, very cool match. Like I think that everyone involved offers something unique. I think that Taryn from Accounting has the best name in professional wrestling. I think that she's someone that, again, you've got to look out for in the future. If you're talking about the futures of Canadian pro wrestling, she's got everything. Probably not. Absolutely not. I can tell you that conclusively. But she brings everything to the table. It was very, very cool for me. She turned heel recently in RCW, and it was something where, when you talk about those people that, like, to use the easy WWE comparables, I guess, where like your Sami Zayns or your Baileys or the people who are just so beloved turn heel.
Yeah.
And then they're almost better. Like it's weird. You get to have that fun argument of which is better. It's having your cake and eating it too. She's great at every role in professional wrestling. I highly suggest checking her out if you've got the opportunity. If you haven't yet, I don't know why, but it's very cool to have her in there. Birat Garani has only wrestled a couple of times as Birat. He used to be doing a previous iteration of himself that is dead and buried, and I'm interested as hell to see what he's got to do. I've never seen the new stuff live. He's put out a couple of video promos and that sort of stuff that are very, very cool, especially in comparison to what he used to be doing. And I'm excited as hell to see it live. He's completely flipped as well, and that's all I'll leave it at, because I don't want to throw
Tune
everything.
in the 15th to find
That's
out.
exactly.
You
There
got
you
to
go,
watch
Pluggo.
the show to see.
Yeah, I know you, but you know me for a cheap plug as well, right? You know how all of this
I think
works.
we have 2 more of these matches left because you finally
I'll
downloaded
click the next one here
Go ahead,
that we can talk about.
Figured it out. There
Yeah,
it
I
is.
did.
Yeah.
Like I said in the private chat, I'm glad I found which match you did. Yeah, talk about excited. Nicole Matthews, she's the shit. I have no other way to put it. And much in the same way I talked about Spinelli, like when you look at people who have been like, as cheesy as it sounds, but been like completely foundational to my love of pro wrestling. So cool to have her as a part of this. She came out a couple of years ago for RCW. Her and Kayla J were part of a couple of triple threats. No, a triple threat and a fatal 4-way as well, excuse me. And they tore it up. But you only get to see so much in those like multi-person matches, right? This is the first time they've ever gone one-on-one. I think it's going to be very, very cool to see. Selfishly, I'm excited as hell to see what Kayla J is going to do in a one-on-one with this one, because like she was doing so many great things before the pandemic with Force specifically. Like she had wrestled Michael Richard Blaze in the main event of even I think our last show before the pandemic with Clandestine. She wrestled Michael Allen, Richard Clark, and like when you look at someone like that, and Zoe's done the same as well. Again, I can't speak highly enough of everyone on this card. Like these are people who have gone up against the best of the best in Canadian wrestling and proven themselves, or are the best of the best in Canadian wrestling. When you look at people like Matthews and our main event players and those sorts of people that, I know you guys might know a little bit more from stuff like the Mae Young and all of that, right? It's such a damn cool mix for me. I'm just excited. I can't find a better way to sum up my thoughts than I'm just so excited for all of these. And like to see these two go one-on-one, you know what? To coin a phrase, you guys, it's going to be neat.
It is going to be neat.
Before we get into the last match, I did just gift out a sub to one of our
big old
followers,
stud, you.
because now you don't have any excuse to not show up on October 15th and hang out in the chat with us as we watch Love Wrestling and Force Pro Wrestling change the game.
And as we're going to be putting over Love Wrestling, Astrid is excited to see Kayla. And we are incredibly excited. This Friday, Astrid's first interview is coming out with the aforementioned Kayla J. I got a sneak peek. I know I sent you guys the link, so I'm sure you guys got a sneak peek too. Excellent content from an excellent individual.
Big day here.
Yeah, we got a lot going on. It's going to be a very, very cool.
Nothing
next
going on tomorrow, I don't think. Do you think Nicole Matthews?
Tomorrow's our Sabbath.
You think Nicole Matthews speaking of
the Thursday Sabbath
Quizplex appearance? Do you think that helps her in the ring against Kayla J?
I don't know how much our quiz show helps anything. Other than allow me a platform to either A, provide a drinking game if I'm producing, or B, host a game show. Like dealer's choice. I'm cool either way. I can't speak highly enough of all of the matches on this card. This one specifically, it's going to be very, very cool to finally see these two go one-on-one. A lot of these matches, like the people quite literally have never stepped in the ring with each other at all. This, you've gotten that little taste. And I, it's again, when I talk about the good rock or the good hard place, I don't know which you get more excited about. You know what I mean? Whether you've gotten that little tease or whether it's a completely brand new experience.
Yeah.
It's exciting for different reasons.
Right. I do have a question before we dive into the last match we'll talk about, which I believe you
I
said
have an
is
answer.
the main event.
I
for
thought
a-
we were the main event.
Well, when you're putting a show together like this, where, this is the first time you're getting all these people from different areas of Canada and stuff like that. The match order of the show, is that something that you already like a week out, you're already kind of like, what you want, or is this still a work in progress, or is that
We
something that
tentatively had a match order for things, like at
Yes.
least what we wanted to do about 15, 20 minutes after we got most of our confirmations.
Okay.
But it's changed a lot, to be honest
Okay,
with you.
yeah.
Like as
It's always something I think
as you
about.
add stuff like a rumble or
Yeah.
as you add people to matches or anything like that, things do change. I'm by no means an expert, and that's where again I look to guys like Tex, and I look to the professional wrestlers around me, to be quite honest with you. Like,
Yeah.
again, in the nicest and most confident way I can say it about myself, because I am confident that this is going to be cool as hell. But I can't deny that obviously this is my first time doing it when there's so many great people that are surrounding me. Like, it's the same way whenever I've talked, and it's the reason I'm so tough on you guys. Whenever I've talked about starting a business, the first thing I've ever said I'd do is hire an accountant, because like I know what my strong suits are and I know what my strong suits aren't. So if I've got people around me that are great at what they do, that are experienced in this at a level that I've never been, why wouldn't I? It seems silly not to, and to have ego feels like a wrong word, but like if I was to have the ego to say, nope, we're doing this my way, I'd be stupid, because I'd be sewering my own show or my own first kick at this, which of course would mean there's a 0% chance guaranteed that there's never ever a second one, right? It's easy to burn bridges with stuff like this, and completely understandably in a world where people are quite literally sometimes paid like shit, treated like shit, they travel like shit, whatever it might be.
So then that's a good.
Try and go as above and beyond as you can.
That would be a follow-up to that is how do you, because we just talked about everybody likes doing cool shit with their friends, right? And I have to imagine wrestlers inside a wrestling ring are no different. So how do you straddle that line of like, look, you've got 10, this is your part in the show, let's keep it moving. You can't have everybody can't have a 45-minute, Iron Man classic, right?
You know what?
Or does that just come down to the locker room you have? Everybody knows their part and they're going to play.
I think right now, man, I'm just like, I hate using the cliche word of blessed, but like I have to. Like I'm blessed with an incredible group of people. There's really no other way to put it. Everybody coming in, because I think on my end too, it's not like, I think there is that mutual respect. At least I'd like to hope there is. That like for me, again, it's not like I'm saying, here's the match, I want you to do this, 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 and this, and here's what's gonna yada yada yada. Here's what we'd like to have happen to end it, and do what you would like to do in the time that is on that sheet is the hope. And people have been really respectful of that. There really haven't been there haven't been any like complaints or issues or anything like that. That even when there's been stuff like, hey, like literally what the biggest issue, quote unquote, is I had to change over somebody's airline booking because I spelled their name wrong. So I had to get a hold of the airline. But like shit, if that's the biggest thing that I've done wrong so far and the only issue I've had so far, I at least like to hope that that's cool. Wow. I've heard a lot worse stories myself, and I'm very proud to say that at least at this point, I don't think I've made any of those horror stories mistake.
That is true.
I hope. It's weird. It's still weird to talk about, as you can tell. Sometimes I dance around it because like it's such a weird threshold to cross. Even like you say, Pluggo, like I'm lucky to have great relationships with a lot of these people personally and professionally. Like you said, I've interviewed a lot of them. Kayla J and I have gone for beers every so often. Obviously, you know the relationship I've got with Parrish, right? Like Goose as well.
It's just we've
it's
all
still
heard
weird
the,
to cross that.
we've all
but
heard the
I'm
indie
very
horror
lucky.
stories, you know,
Exactly.
where it's
Exactly.
like I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, and then it's like it just derails.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've got quite the crew, and we have cliffhanged the main event here long enough. We have vamped, so go
I got to
ahead,
throw
push
this one out here real quick then,
Oh,
too.
yes, I
And
was gonna
can't
mention
forget
that.
live correspondent
I
Alicia,
wasn't.
too. Of
I was
course you
gonna
can't
save the
forget
best for
Alicia,
last.
too.
Yeah, I was
I was
gonna
gonna say, well, then you better have been like cutting my face out of that graphic then too, because it's like I literally quote tweeted him like, "We're bringing in the best into Edmonton, and Spencer will be there too."
No, she's awesome at what
Yeah,
she
she's
does.
great.
I know we've done some MLW shows together, and I just
You
love
say you
how
did an NFL draft?
Sure, whatever. We talked NBA, MLB, it doesn't matter. But she's very good at not just asking a question and standing there. She's really good about like conveying what she's saying as important and then following up to it. So I think you've got yourself a dynamite backstage correspondent for this show.
I'm psyched, man. So excited. And again, like you
Absolutely.
talk about doing cool things with your friends, like that's just another
Feather in the
another
cap.
it's another Tony.
No, until that Tony. Hey. All right. So we have this main
push
event.
the button. Push the button.
This main event, you had mentioned it earlier, but we actually have some words from both the participants of the main event. So let's listen to one of them right now.
What better way to enter the new normal than the return of the weird?
Hi friends, 'tis I, your proverbial punk hunk and weirdo hero, Ravenous Randy Myers, and I am so over the top excited. No more excited. Yeah, that's it right there. To be returning to Edmonton for Love Wrestling's Change the Game on October 15th. And what makes it even better is I'm wrestling one of my very bestest friends ever in MRB. I can't wait to see all their friends. Oh, excitement.
Yow, 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 weirdo.
I love Randy
That
Myers.
is so good.
I
That is so good.
friggin' love Randy Myers. And like, okay, you guys start talking because you sounded like you're going to say something, JPJ, because otherwise.
No,
I'm
I was just
like,
going to
keep
say the
talking.
main event of the evening, which I will show the graphic, and then we will hear from Michael Richard Blaze in a little bit. But
His
it is
graphic
Randy
is so
Myers going one-on-one with Michael Richard Blaze. I know you kind of talked about it a little earlier. You put it over. You said it was the first time they're wrestling in 13 years. Is that what you said?
13 years.
a
And
long
admittedly,
time.
yeah. And to be quite honest with you guys, like whenever I'd ever talked about having any dream matches or anything out there on the Canadian Indies, like this was always one of the first ones I would bring up. Randy Myers, like both of these guys, I could talk a lot about on the personal end. All I'm going to leave it to is like both of those guys have been immeasurable as far as like helping me out in pro wrestling and supporting personally, professionally, anything in between. You won't find many better human beings than a lot of people on this card. Those guys specifically on that end have been huge. It's very cool to me that this match is happening 9 days from today, because it's been forever. MRB explains a lot of like their history together and all of that sort of stuff together too in the promo. So like,
Yeah. We will be putting that up.
I can only even just speak to like my own excitement for this, but like hell, I couldn't be more excited for this. Michael Richard Blaze is another individual that I know I've talked to you guys a lot about. I know I've talked a lot about, to be quite honest with you, but like he's another individual. Like I'm talking about Clark and Artie and all of those sorts of guys earlier. Like I'm it baffles me how you don't like look at these guys and just like throw the contract directly at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're so talented. They're so talented. And I can say that up and down this card. It's pretty damn cool, man. Like, to just be able to look at all of them and be like, all right, this is like the best buffet of professional wrestling matches I think you can put together almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm super excited. But you just said, let's hear from Blaze with his words about the history of him and Mr. Randy Myers.
There's so much excitement to change the game October 15th at the Rec Room South in Edmonton. But to truly understand the change, we have to go back to the beginning. The beginning of Michael Richard Blaze, an origin story of sorts. May 2003, a young 13-year-old kid walks into BJ's gym for the very first time. A kid who was bullied in school. No friends to speak of, the fat kid, unathletic, told by everybody, teachers included, that he would amount to nothing. Riddled with anxiety, afraid of his own shadow, steps foot to a professional wrestling ring, and the very first person he meets is ravenous Randy Myers. Randy taught me my first bumps. Randy helped bring me out of my shell. Randy made me believe I could be things I only ever dreamed of. He was like an older brother, a hero of sorts. I looked up to him. But then I watched it change. I saw goals go unfulfilled, dreams become colorless, and when things got hard, he left. He went on to become the weirdo hero. But he left me behind. And I went through hardships, tough times. He wasn't there for me. And I also found myself. I grew. I evolved. I found success. Accomplished goals. On my own. I killed that kid you knew, Randy. And resurrected him as your savior. So that brings us here. October 15th at the Rec Room South in Edmonton. Change the game. No! You're not coming here to change the game. That name is a farce. Because I already did it. I, your savior, God's gift to wrestling, Michael Richard Blaze, have been playing my wonderful symphony of change this entire time. I created change. And now you're coming back to my kingdom of salvation. You're playing my game. And if you're lucky, on that night I'll feel nostalgic. I might show you compassion and I will save you. But I'm not gonna lie. It would bring me such closure and immense joy to punish and smite you into nothing but a forgotten memory. I'll see you soon, Randy. Oh, what a beautiful day of judgment it shall be.
Sold me a ticket.
I was
Sold
gonna
me a
say,
ticket
if that
right there.
doesn't sell you a ticket right
Come
there,
on
I
now.
don't know what will.
Come on now. That's some good stuff right there.
And again, like the coolest thing for me is obviously like you look at the history and you hear the history, I should say, for what MRB was just talking about. And like there's a lot of meat there. And I think that there's just such a cool, it's the best way I can ever put it. And it's again, someone else's words, not mine, but like there's like the light and the shade to it is the way that like Jimmy Page had put it, is like you need both ends. You can't really just have, I don't know, one note. I always talk about, I guess to use my words for it, like the buffet of things in professional wrestling. And I think that when you look at that match and when you look at this card specifically, you get it in spades.
Yeah. And
we still have one more match to announce.
Oh, teaser.
That's what we call a tease.
Scoops.
Coming this Friday.
This
Like,
Friday.
oh.
So there you go. So we've already
Yeah,
gone
Friday's
through
a pack day.
Friday,
for
pack
wrestling.
day. I love
Thursday, they're
wrestling.
like, meh.
You know,
Well,
we'll be
we
the
leave
lead
it
in.
for the
We'll be the
flagship.
lead in to Friday. We'll be the lead in. You get to watch
So
us
I'm
go to
gonna
sleep, and then
I'm
we have
gonna
a big
put the
day.
boss on the spot here.
Oh boy.
Actually, I have two questions to put you on the spot, but we'll start with the easy one first. Which match are you looking most forward to? If you had to pick one, I know you like them all.
Yeah, and like that again, the tough part is like it's pretty easy to pick a favorite match when someone else is doing it. But like every single one of them, and it's even half the reason that I had you guys pick the ones we were going to talk about is like you guys saw me. It's like I get the like, all right, like this is happening. I get those moments for quite literally all of them. So like it's changed day by day is the best way I can put it. Like you see those promos come in and holy cow, was I damn excited for that match that day specifically. And then I've got another couple promos that have come in. I've got a match to announce, like I said on Friday, that I'm sure on that day, that's going to be the one I'm most looking forward to. It's like a weird mix of things, because I would have thought like, you know, right off the bat, say, you know, Randy and MRB, that's going to be my favorite match. I'm going to make sure I'm doing nothing at that point. But like, I'm trying to do everything I can so that like, as soon as I'm done with ring announcing, I like can run to the front row.
Fair.
And do nothing else. Everything else is going to be like
Just be a fan, right? You just
leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then did you make sure to send these invoices into Alice? Because this budget for this show looks...
I've actually been squirreling that away. I don't know if you guys saw those, like the Panama Papers or whatever came out the other day, but I had some secret offshore account money in Papua New Guinea that I was keeping away from old Alice.
But shout out to Zach. Is he the one doing the graphics for this as well? Like
huge shout out to Zach. Like I don't think, and you know what? I think we're very complimentary of him. I don't think anything that we're like rude or anything of that sort, but he is also the sort of individual that like you cannot say enough about what he does. Because like every logo, every like little graphic you see in these corners and all of that sort of stuff, all Zach. Anything that we're doing, that's all Zach.
That
the only
ticket
thing
that
Zach,
you didn't use?
yeah,
Zach.
all Zach. All Zach. Zach hopped in. He hopped on the grenade of a Cool Runnings watch along for old Spencer Levin. That, my friends, is why you can never say enough about.
Yeah, forever in debt.
I couldn't even finish that. I'm sorry. That was funny, but
we messaged him privately and we were like, "Look, this is what we're gonna do."
Yeah, and he was just like,
"All
"All
right."
All right. You could tell he was like, "All right, I'll do it."
He's never.
That's why you're the best, Zach.
That's why he's the best. I can tell you that. My gosh, this card looks great. We've been here for about an hour.
Over an hour. A little over an hour.
Talking. So Spencer Love,
God
Boss
forbid.
Man, Rand Poobah, please plug this show one more time. Where can the fans find it, see it, watch it, live it, love it, all that fun stuff?
Well, friends, if you are in Edmonton, Alberta on October 15th, which if you've got the opportunity to come up, I would encourage you to do so. It's a short drive away for all of you in Leduc, Red Deer, St. Albert, anywhere in between. Make your way to the Rec Room South Common. You are going to see a hell of a night of professional wrestling. And there are a lot of opportunities in the Edmonton area to see a hell of a night of professional wrestling. But this one, I think, is going to be really, really unique. We've got a lot of great professional wrestlers coming in. We've really got some of the best in Canadian wrestling. We've got 6 different provinces represented on this card, each and every one of them. Just incredible pro wrestlers and incredible people. If you've got the opportunity to be there, you can get tickets at the Eventbrite link that I will tweet out immediately following this show on my social media. If you want to follow me, it is @SpennyLove on Twitter. And if you're tuned in on Twitch, then you already are one step on the way to tuning in to Change the Game. If you're outside of Alberta, if you're outside of Edmonton, or if you just simply can't make it to the Rec Room on October 15th, tune in right here on twitch.tv/LoveWrestlingCA. You're going to be able to watch the show for free at any point. We're not ever going to obligate you to tune into some of the greatest Canadian pro wrestling you'll see. But if you want to give a little bit extra and you want to get some interaction going, some FaceTime, if you will, with not only Pluggo, JPJ, or any of the other great individuals that will be in the chat that night, if you want to throw us a subscription, that is how you will be able to do so. While we always want to encourage supporting us in any way you can, this won't just be supporting us. It'll be going right back into helping support the great people that Change the Game together, whether it's the wrestlers, the referees, the ring announcers, anything in between. I know I say it often, but it's incredibly appreciated when you take the time for us here at Love Wrestling. And if you want to do a little bit more for some people outside of Love Wrestling as well, it would be greatly, 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 greatly appreciated.
Absolutely. And as Spencer said, Pluggo and I will be in the chat throughout the duration of the event. So
Because we
you
blew
can
the budget and couldn't go in
Yep.
person.
yeah, exactly. So we'll be in the
Hey,
chat.
my words, not yours.
Well, wait a minute. Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape.
Find it back.
Rewind the tape. No.
Those gutters looked really clean on SRS's house, though, by the way, Spencer. You did a great job. Proud of you. For the brand. For the brand.
It should be a very fun night. I know it's a night that we are all excited about here at Love Wrestling next Friday, October 15th, for this event. I am excited, like I mentioned earlier, I get to see some of these people that Spencer has talked so glowingly about to me for a long time now. So I'm excited to get to see some of these people in the ring, and I'm just very excited to be chatting with everybody. And it's a big deal. Like we've been talking about it for a little bit. It's exciting. Mm-hmm. It's cool. I'm definitely going to make my way up there if there is another one, because I wanted my best to be there, but Pluggo and the budget, it is what it is. And, but I
tried to crunch the numbers and it didn't work.
It just didn't work. It didn't work.
What it comes down to is, support independent wrestling. All these people that you see on the independent scene are out there killing it, breaking their necks. It's not just about the Monday, Wednesday, Friday people on TV. It's about that independent. Support your locals. Spencer, honestly, man, like we joke a lot, but this is an awesome thing that you're doing. It's been so much fun to watch it grow from its infancy. I can't even speak to where it is. It's hard to compliment you on screen.
I muffle my words all the time too, friend.
Gimmick, but you're doing an awesome thing. And letting us come on and talk to you about it and pick your brain for about the last hour plus on the upcoming event has been really awesome, man. Thank you.
Dude, thank you guys. No, it's been an absolute blast to be a part of it. I know I don't compliment you guys often enough. I think that maybe your budget blowing tendencies may have a little bit to do with that.
Fair.
But I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a blast to get to shoot the shit with you. I appreciate the support. It's been pretty cool to talk about the first kick at the cat here for Love Wrestling as far as getting into loving professional wrestling in a event sense, I suppose. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, guys.
JPJ, he segued it perfect, blowing the budget. What are we doing tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow night, 8:30. You can see Pluggo and myself back here for another episode of Between Two Beards. We'll try to not blow the budget. So if there is a second one of these, we can go. But yeah, we'll be here. And then obviously Friday, we have another match announcement for this show that we talked about tonight, which should be really exciting. We have, like we mentioned, Astrid. With her Astrid Axe, well, she'll be talking with Kayla
J.
I
know we've got so much going on. It's a good
I know there's so much. There's so much. I know.
Got the Weekend Elite Report.
We got so much stuff. So tune into Love Wrestling. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. And now it's even more, give us a subscribe even more now so you can be a part of what we're doing next Friday here and be in the chat and talk to all of us throughout the show. But again, yes. We are going to do a raid. Are we going to do a raid?
Yes, we will. I think that those good people of the Twitch side of things should be treated to another great individual in pro wrestling. So we're going to go hang out. I was trying to say see, and then I was trying to change it to hang out. I was trying to say great, and then I changed it to cool, so it came out as gruel.
Cool runnings. Will there be a Canadian Destroyer on Friday?
I don't know. Maybe.
Is that a staple of all Canadian wrestling shows? Canadian Destroyer?
I don't know, really. Like I don't think so.
Terrible joke in my head.
I think that there's like a requirement for 60% of shows to require them, but I don't think it's anything more than that.
Okay. 60% of the time, all the time. Got it.
Yeah, it's same as radio rules. All right, we're going to go rate our good friends over at Everything Pro Wrestling at EPW Show here on Twitch. We're going to go hang out with Conrad, a great individual. They're chatting pro wrestling all evening. So let's go say hello, friends. I'm going to hit the start raid button. That gives us about 10 to 15 seconds. Do you think it can wrap up once I do that? Do you guys want to close it out? It's your show.
Oh, yeah. I'll just say peace out, and
Peace
then we're
out.
gonna
Tomorrow
do our
night,
thing.
8:30, normal spot between two beers. We're gonna blow this man's budget. I don't care what JPJ says.
Wow, it's
But
true.
get
He
you one of
doesn't.
these. LoveWrestlingShop.ca.
Thank you for hopping on, Spencer. We'll see
Yes,
you guys
much
tomorrow night.
appreciated.
Bye.
I only drink with my best friends. Some people say we have a problem.